بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربنا زدنا علما اللهم فقهنا في الدين. I apologize to all the speakers that had to deal with this headset microphone. It seems to be a problem. I'm having it too now. I'm the one that picked this one, by the way. Okay, so we're continuing our hadith per week from Riyadh al-Salihin. Last week, if you'll remember, we were talking about how truth leads to piety, falsehood leads to vice. Continuing now in the hadith of sabr that are related to truth, because being truthful requires sabr. That's the theme of this particular section. So today's hadith expands on that a little bit. And we have Hassan ibn Ali radiallahu anhu said, I remember these words from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Give up what is doubtful to you for that which is not doubtful. For truth is peace of mind and falsehood is doubt. And this is narrated in Sunan al-Tirmidhi, and it was categorized as Hasan Sahih. So the hadith, it's again simple but very profound, subhanAllah. So this is Hassan ibn Ali radiallahu anhuma. This is, of course, the beloved of the Prophet ﷺ. And he said that he heard the Prophet ﷺ saying, give up what is doubtful to you for that which is not doubtful. What does this mean? Like, what's doubtful in this regard? So we have a few ways that we can understand this, and I think that there are a few ways that you can find that some scholars have interpreted this as well. And among them is, for example, when you have a doubt about something, do whatever it takes to eliminate that doubt. And a simple example we can say is like with regards to wudu. Okay? If you are sure that you did wudu when you prayed Maghrib, you were on wudu when you prayed Maghrib, and you are not sure if you lost your wudu, well, the default ruling is you have wudu until you lose it. You have to do something that triggers the loss of your wudu. So your doubt is, did I lose my wudu? Well, you already know for sure you had wudu before. So because you were sure you had wudu before, and you doubt that you lost wudu, then the ruling is you have wudu. That's the general thing. I'm not making a fatwa here. I'm sure there are nuances here and there. But that's an example of where doubt should not override what's true, what's certain. So that's an example. Another example is, for example, the default ruling for certain, like some type of, let's say, I don't want to get into the zabiha and halal, the debate, but maybe we can talk about like the default ruling of something being halal. But something could make it haram, but you're not sure if that thing entered into it. So if something is by default halal, and then you are doubtful if something made it haram, like you don't know, did it do? Well, you cannot undo the certainty with the uncertainty. And then there's the same thing. Like, for example, you can take the reverse. If I know that I went to the bathroom, but I don't remember if I did wudu or not, I thought, oh, maybe I did wudu, well, let's just have husn al-dhan that I did wudu. No, that's again doubtful overriding what's certainty. So, this is an example of those things. We can also go into the issues of the mutashabihat. There are issues in Islam that they might contain some doubt. You're not sure. There's a lot of differences of opinions about them. If it's not essential for you, it's better to avoid the doubtful matter and stick to what's certain. Like, for example, nowadays online, a lot of Muslims engage in debates about very edge cases, and they are blasting each other for these edge cases as if this is the pinnacle issue of the ummah, an issue of aqeedah that the scholars themselves have debated about, or some issues of fiqh that there's difference of opinion about, or the status of so-and-so or the status of so-and-so. And the truth is, whether it's this or that doesn't actually impact your daily life. Your prayer doesn't become more or less accepted based on what opinion of this obscure issue you follow. It's not going to change the genocide of the Muslims in Gaza, of the people of Gaza, not just Muslims, we know that. Why are we spending so much time debating about something that the Muslim scholars and Ummah have not settled for 1400 years? And you're going to cast someone out and say, oh, you're a mubtada', you are a kafir, you are you are someone causing fasad. Boys, this room is very noisy. The smallest sound from anywhere is as equal to the sound of me on the microphone. So when you're talking in the back, the brothers up front can't hear, and the speaker actually, I'm struggling to stay focused as well. And the people listening are also being disturbed. Have your fun, inshallah, but maybe do it outside the musalla and maybe close the doors, please. Okay, or if you want to sit, that's even better, but I'm not as strong as Ustad Muhammad al-Laythi. So, Jazakumullah khair. So, we were saying that sometimes these smaller issues cause big divisions. When the companions of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ did not agree on everything, but they didn't allow that issue to cause separation. A common case in point, okay? Should you pray on time? I mean, come on. This is an obvious thing, right? Well, believe it or not, even the companions had one issue where they differed. And one batch prayed at the time, and another batch prayed after the next salah, following another commandment of the Prophet ﷺ. The command of the Prophet ﷺ was said, do not pray Asr before you arrive at the Bani Qurayza, I think, something like that. And so some of the companions, when the time for Asr came, they had not yet arrived. So they said, hey, we need to pray Asr because it's the time for Asr. And the other Sahaba said, the Prophet ﷺ said, don't pray Asr until we arrive there. And the first group said, well, I think he said that to let us go early. We were delayed, so now it's time for Asr. I don't think he meant for us to delay. And they said, we would rather follow what the Prophet ﷺ said literally. So the first group prayed and the second group didn't. And the second group prayed when they arrived. They did not fight. They did not cast each other out of the manhaj. They did not say the other one's a kafir. They let the one group pray and the other group didn't, because they both had a reason why they were following what they were following. That's about the salah and praying it on time or late. Believe me, any online debate issue is less important than when you should pray the salah. And the companions, they were the best generation, they were the best of people. They did not make that issue divide them. And more importantly, when the Prophet ﷺ heard about it, he smiled at both of them. And he did not say one was more correct than the other. He understood you both exercised your ijtihad, and you both were striving to whatever you felt was closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have lost this mentality. We should be encouraging each other to strive toward what's closest to Allah, and there is no guarantee that we are on the better way or that the other one is on the better way. But if both are striving and intending, and we must have a fair assumption of each other that they are trying, then you're going to find that our conflicts are going to go way down, and our success as an ummah is going to go way up. And this, I believe, is what is captured by this, like I said, simple but comprehensive and profound and elegant hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. And notice how it concludes that truth of avoiding what's doubtful is peace of mind. You're no longer obsessing about it. You're no longer worried about being right or wrong. You picked what was clear, and you left what was haram. There's a lot of nuance of things like this that I didn't want to get into, but personally, I have used this concept in a way that, yes, there was an initial hardship because I took an issue where there's doubts about these things, I've heard opinions about them, let me just avoid them. Whether it's certain things that some scholars have said are riba, some types of insurance, some types of loans. In my opinion, I just dodged all of them. I just say, okay, you know what, Allah, I don't believe that your rizq has to come through doubtful means. Oh Allah, I'm going to take your rizq from what I feel is clear. Now, materially, I might be getting less by numbers. My bank account may not be the biggest one in our community, but I notice that I'm at peace. I don't feel worried. about where my money is coming from, and I see Allah's blessing in my family. And I know many other people are like this. It's not like I'm unique. I'm just relating a personal example. How I decided I have doubts about these things, let me avoid them. Now, if a scholar comes and says, that's a hardship, brother, you should do this. If that's your situation, you should follow whatever you feel comfortable with. But I'm just giving you an example. And then finally, falsehood is doubt. So in other words, you notice there's some people, their mentality, they dwell a lot with the doubtful things, and you find out that they end up falling into a lot of problems. Their families don't work out well. They end up with all kinds of strange, weird things that someone who avoided what they avoided would not have. So avoid what is doubtful. And if you're not sure, ask. But that's the point. If you're not sure, there's some doubt about it, try to stick to what you know and emphasize. And the side issue is, when there is a doubt about an issue, don't blast someone else for doing what they thought was correct or what they thought was okay. This hadith is very personal. It's to you. You give up what is doubtful. Don't tell other people what they should and shouldn't do. It's very much about you at the individual, personal level. If I said anything that is correct, it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. If I said anything that is wrong, it is only for myself and shaitan. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from going astray, to keep us on what is clear and truthful, to protect us from what is doubtful and wrong and disliked by Him. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant relief and victory to all of our brothers and sisters and all of the oppressed people around the world over their oppressors. Lift that oppression off of them and allow them to flourish and prosper and to experience freedom and goodness in dunya and in akhirah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept those that died in that path as shuhada, as martyrs. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the very best in the dunya and in the akhirah for us. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ سُبْحَانَكَ اللَّهُمَّ وَبِحَمْدِكَ وَنَشْهَدُ أَن لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ وَأَسْتَغْفِرُكَ وَأَتُوبُ إِلَيْكَ جزاكم الله خير السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.